Welcome to Breaking News. I'm Miley and bring for you latest news on today. President Donald Trump is now claiming without evidence that Democrats are carrying out widespread voter fraud to steal the U.S. Senate election in Florida between Republican Rick Scott and Democratic incumbent Bill Nelson. It began with Trump's tweet on Thursday night that law enforcement is looking for election fraud in the state, claiming that Florida voted for Rick Scott. He later added, Rick Scott was up by 50,000 votes on election day. Now they found many votes and he is only up to 15,000 votes. They brought a fake. How come they never find Republican votes? What's likely happening in Florida, though, is that votes are still being counted. It's normal, especially in close elections, for results to change as more votes are counted. Particularly toward the end of a count, counties with more votes can start getting into the last few votes. Provisional ballots can be verified, and mail-in ballots can come in. If these ballots happen to lean toward a certain party or a candidate, then that party or candidate will see a net gain in votes. In Florida's Senate race, that has resulted in the count narrowing further as the votes are tallied. On Wednesday morning, Scott was ahead by more than 50,000 votes. In the latest tally, he is ahead by less than 15,000 votes. Even if Nelson doesn't overtake Scott, the thin margin could lead to a recount that could flip the results. Both Scott, the current governor of Florida, and Trump have suggested that something nefarious is going on. They have yet to provide any proof for those claims. In fact, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement is not actively investigating any matters related to Tuesday's election, Dan Merica and Ryan Nobles reported. Because the Florida Department of State, which oversees elections, hasn't received any credible allegations of fraud or other criminal activity. That's not to say that fraud is absolutely impossible. It's happened in very rare cases, including in Florida, but it's ridiculous to claim fraud when there's no real evidence that something is actually going wrong. On one hand, this is just more of what we expect from Trump. It is not exactly breaking news that this president is dishonest and hyperbolic, prone to claiming things on Twitter without evidence. On the other hand, this also shows a long-standing truth about Republican voter fraud claims. They are about winning elections, not really evidence-based concerns. And this story appears in Breaking News, a news format on the latest tweets and turns around voter fraud in Florida. Subscribe and follow us along with more about Trump's administration policy and the situation of the election. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the duration of today's program. Thank you for watching.